This week's video is brought to you by the generosity of Admiral John Crawford, Ronald Morgan, and I'm just happy to be a stormtrooper, Adam Jordan. I am most grateful for your support, my friends. You are all a credit to the Empire. Boba Fett, the most feared and ruthless bounty hunter in the galaxy, and for millions of Star Wars fans, one of the most iconic and enigmatic characters of the entire saga. Based on Clint Eastwood's Man with No Name from Sergio Leone's westerns, Boba Fett quickly became a fan favorite the world over. Released on the 42nd anniversary of The Empire Strikes Back, Boba Fett, No Disintegrations, was produced by Creative Force Films, and in all honesty, this is what I was hoping for from the book of Boba Fett. Our story begins in a wretched hive of scum and villainy, where we are treated to a nice homage to the Cantina scene from Episode 4. Not only was I impressed by the set they built for this production, I've never seen this many aliens in a fan film before. In fact, not even Disney Plus shows like The Book of Boba Fett or Kenobi have ever had this many classic Star Wars aliens on screen at one time. In this opening sequence, we see a Quarren, a Saurian, a couple of Twi'leks, an Iridonian Zabrak, the Trandoshan bounty hunter Bossk, a Gran, a Rodian, and a Jawa. We even get Master Splinter working a side gig as a musician at the bar. Seeing all of these various alien creatures on screen captured the feeling of classic Star Wars perfectly, a feeling that has been sadly lacking in many of the Disney Plus shows, because you rarely, if ever, see aliens in the background of these series. Almost all the extras are humans, and as a result, it makes the galaxy feel very small, because the magic of Star Wars is in the colorful background characters that make up the world, and seeing all of these masks and creature suits on screen was both nostalgic and impressive, considering this was a small independent production. Now I know I gave the Book of Boba Fett a lot of crap for all of their flashbacks, but the difference here is, they actually flash back to something I want to see, as the manly Mandalorian takes on a group of rebel scum on Coruscant, who apparently shop at the same fish tank store as Captain Picard. After he dusts off 3 rebel spies, a group of rebel scum enters the fray, and while we see a lot of stormtroopers in fan films, I realized we don't see many rebel soldiers, and like the opening Cantina scene, once again, the costumes here are truly impressive. I also want to give credit to the actor playing Boba Fett here, because he not only dresses the part, he carries himself very well indeed. The body language of a character is often overlooked in many fan films I've seen, so even if they have good costumes, the character often lacks a sense of presence and can even come off as unintentionally comical. But here, this feels like Boba Fett. He has the movement and sense of slow, calculated intimidation down perfectly, and it shows he did his homework to get the character right. And that is something I truly appreciate. My favorite moment of the film by far is when he uses his jetpack to launch into a knee to the face of a rebel trooper. Seeing Fett throw down like Batman, even filling the room with smoke so he can take down his targets one by one, shows why he is the most ruthless and feared bounty hunter in the galaxy. Having grown up with the EU's depiction of the character, this is the Boba Fett I've always wanted to see on screen. Now this shouldn't have to be said, but I've seen so many contrarian hipsters on the internet saying Boba Fett never had a character because he only had a few lines in The Empire Strikes Back, and that he was never really that cool. This of course is utterly ridiculous. Boba Fett is the lone gunfighter archetype, and while he was mysterious, the way he was utilized in the film spoke volumes about his character if you pay attention. First, his appearance alone tells you a story of a man who has been through years of combat due to his battle-worn armor. Second, out of all of the bounty hunters on the Bridge of the Executor, he is the only one that I single out personally when I tell him no disintegrations, meaning disintegrating his targets is a standard practice for Fett, showing his cold and brutal tactics. And finally, in The Empire Strikes Back, I kill several of my own men for the slightest failure, yet when Boba Fett talks back to me, not only do I spare his life, I don't even address his hostile tone, showing a level of mutual respect between the two of us. And any bounty hunter who can garner my respect must be ruthless, cunning, and a powerful ally in his own right. So Boba Fett didn't need to talk about his feelings for hours on end to tell us who he was as a character. George Lucas showed us who he was, in his costume, his actions, and how he was perceived by those around him, particularly his interactions with me. But speaking of our interactions, an unexpected treat in this film was a wizard scene including me. The attention to detail in this fan film is truly impressive. They even use a classic Imperial musical cue from Star Wars Episode 4, and I really appreciated that touch. This scene also has one of the very best Darth Vader voices I've ever heard in a fan film. And my only complaint is that we don't get to see more of me, because you can never have too much me in a Star Wars movie. Meanwhile, back at Space Cheers, Dengar shows up to have a little chat with Boba and Bossk, and seeing these three on screen together really highlights what a missed opportunity it was that we never got a scene like this in the Book of Boba Fett. The film ends with the three joining forces to go after a high-value bounty, and I truly hope they continue this storyline in another film. From the costumes, classic aliens, and musical score, this felt like pure Star Wars, and it never ceases to amaze me what passionate fans can create. If you haven't seen this film yet, do yourself a favor and check it out now. A link is in the description. And to the entire production team at Creative Force Films, well done. Boba Fett, no Disintegrations, was impressive. Most impressive. And not only do I hope to see more film projects from you in the future, I'd love to see Dash Rendar make an appearance as well. This is Vader Reviews. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and follow me on Twitter at Vader Reviews. Join the Empire today. You do not yet realize your importance. Share these videos, and together we will rule the internet. And always remember, you don't know the power of the dark side.